Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here on the NOFSRL channel, and we are here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway ready to begin the 6th weekend of the season for the Turkey Hill Truck Series. We begin with the Krispy Kreme Series. They qualify here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Going to be a great weekend. 2 night races later tonight. The Cabarrus County 150 in the Krispy Kreme Series, and tomorrow night the K&M 200 here. From NASCAR's backyard, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a really fun racetrack to go to. We get some pretty intense racing here, and you just never know who's going to win till the end. And it's the first time the Krispy Kreme Series has come here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so I would expect a very interesting race tomorrow, especially considering how fast this place can be, but also how narrow it is. We'll have to see how it all plays out in the 25-lap event here tonight. But either way, it's only a 5-minute session here for these guys. We figured that the 10-minute sessions were not necessary in this series. Of course, we will have a 10-minute session next week since we're at the long Watkins Glen International, a very long racetrack over there. Very good possibility that not everyone will be able to get a time in, but everyone should be able to get a time in here tonight. And the first guy out there is last year's champion, Ryan Kinghorst. It's not been a good season for him so far. We'll have to see what he can do in this one. And of course, the last race we had here on the Krispy Kreme Series was madness. It was ridiculous. Eric Miller coming home with the race victory in the Menards 200 2 weeks ago. This race should not have near the amount of cautions that race did. Of course, this one only a 25-lap race, but I would imagine that this race is going to be a pretty clean one here later tonight over on Napa Fan. Number 28 with the fastest time right now. Can't remember who's in what car in this series, which isn't a good thing. I should probably know that. That's Cody Sill, I do believe, in the 28, who's still the fastest guy out there. Able to clock in a pretty fast time once again. There he is, right there in the number 28 machine. Still holding on at the top position here. I have the list somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's still on the notebook. That is, in fact, Cody Sill, who's still leading. It's been a while since I've done a race in this series, so I forgot who's in what car. That's why I write it down on a piece of paper. Juan Garcia. Now, Juan Garcia is actually doing pretty good. Of course, the championship is really tight coming into this race. Baranowski's the points leader, 54 points, but 3 points behind is Aaron Walpole and Austin Colano. Colano winning at South Boston 3 weeks ago. Cody Sill is only 6 points behind. Juan Garcia and Eric Miller both 7 points behind. So it's a really, really tight championship here in the Krispy Kreme Series. Number 55 of Ashland Boyd has gone to the top of the board. A really fast time for him right there, 30.223. And Wade Lindell going to second with Cody Sill, Austin Colano, and Mitch Hobbs, the top 5. Make sure everyone's gotten a time in. The only driver yet to get out there is the 44, but I did see the 44 out on the racetrack. That is Zach Winkle. And Zach Winkle will also get a time in, so everyone going to get a time in here in Charlotte qualifying for the Krispy Kreme Series. 21 machine, Jonathan Logan to the top of the board. Juan Garcia with a pretty fast time right there as well. Now, this is the place where drafting is going to come into play, especially in these cars. They're pretty much going to go wide open in the race tomorrow, or should I say tonight, because these guys are racing tonight over on Napa Fan. But they're pretty much going to be going wide open because they have a very high downforce package in these machines. Actually have higher downforce than the trucks do, so that definitely creates very interesting racing. Juan Garcia back to the top of the board, under 30 seconds for his lap time. A great time there for Juan Garcia. Number 46 machine of Audra Baranowska. She has been doing a great job this season. Of course, Toledo was pretty much a wild card race for these guys. But if you take that out, she finished second at South Boston, and she won at Daytona, so watch out for her in the first intermediate race of the season. These intermediate races are going to be interesting here in the Krispy Kreme Series. They're not going to really be too crazy. You got to find a way to that inside and get around people pretty well because we have a good amount of these. We have Kansas on the schedule. And we also go to Chicagoland as well. We also go to Pocono. Of course, Pocono technically classifies as a super speedway, but it races a lot like an intermediate racetrack. They definitely want to do good on these racetracks because we don't have too many short tracks on the circuit. We're already done with 2 of them. We go to Iowa. I believe we also go to Gateway this season as well. I don't think we're going to have a crazier race than what we saw last time here in the Krispy Kreme Series at Toledo. That was a little excessive right there, and we hope to not see a replay of that anytime this season. We also go to IRP. Now, that's going to be an interesting race because it could play out a lot like South Boston, where one guy just dominates the whole thing to come home with the race victory. But one guy is going to start on the pole and maybe even dominate tonight. Juan Garcia with the pole in the Cabarrus County 150 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Have a tie between Ashland Boyd and Carter Freeze, and we'll have to break that for you, but you will get the official starting lineup when we get to the race tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here, over there on NapaFan. Not right here. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get the trucks out here and qualify for the K&M 200, which will be held tomorrow in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Juan Garcia on winning the pole in the Krispy Kreme Series from Charlotte. And here we go, ready to set the starting lineup for tomorrow night's K&M 200 here from Charlotte. And we're going to do something a little bit differently. We had a 5-minute session in the Krispy Kreme Series a little while ago. We're going to do that here for the trucks as well. So not much time for these guys to get out there. First driver to get out there, Trey Smith in number 35. This last weekend's race was something else there with Dan Park and Nicholas Samedea going after it at the end. Of course, Dan Park won here in the Craftsman Throwback Series back in May. So watch out for Dan Park. He moved himself up to 3rd in the points standings with that race victory last week. 16 points behind our points there, McAngelo and the Wangwu Fisher G. 2nd in the points, only 3 points behind coming into the 6th race of the season. And of course, Charlotte, one of the classic races here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Been going here since the first season. And it's always a wild race. You just never know who's going to win it until the end. Here's Trey Smith in number 35, going to be the first driver to complete a lap here. Owen Miles right behind him there in number 34. We'll see if anybody else is out there about to start a lap. There's Jesse Turner in the number 75. He's just begun his first lap. And everyone coming off the pit lane here. Only 5 minutes to get your time in, so I would expect all these guys coming out here very soon. There's Trey Smith, 31.483, and that's a little bit slower than what we saw in the Krispy Kreme Series, I believe. Can't quite remember since I did that yesterday, and I have the memory of a goldfish, but Trey Smith still fastest. Only 2 drivers now, 3 drivers. Jesse Turner going to the top of the board, but we've yet to have a full list of drivers complete a lap yet in this session. Dan Park going to the top of the board here early on. But Trey Smith with his second lap was really fast right there. And he had to actually had to drive on the outside of some guys. So I would expect these guys to really pick up the speeds as the session rolls along. So Trey Smith, Dan Park. It's now the 45. Skylar Perry just went to the top of the board. Try to see where he is on the racetrack. There he is right there, right behind Ace Garcia. And we're going to see in the race tonight in the Krispy Kreme Series that the draft is going to play into effect on how well you run here. These guys pretty much go wide open in the Krispy Kreme Series and in the trucks. So I would imagine that we're going to have a pack race, at least up to the set of pit stops that we're going to have in tomorrow's event. There's Zachary Fitzwater. Now it's Ace Garcia fastest here in qualifying. And he got a pull off of Emily Anderson, and that's going to put him to the top of the board for the moment. A great run there for Ace Garcia. Of course, where you start in this race isn't going to matter too much. A little bit different than what it was last week at Rockingham. These guys are probably going to shuffle throughout the field quite a bit. How about the 77 right there? Shane Lake to the top of the board. Great run for him. We'll have to see if anybody can beat that 30-second mark. We had one driver do so in the Krispy Kreme Series. We've yet to have anyone do it here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And everyone has gone out there on the racetrack, so everyone will get a lap time in here in K&N 200 qualifying. Chris Skinlart, Matt Tuck, second and third right now. Number 69, Matthew Logan, is fourth. And Dan Park, going for 2 in a row here, is fifth. McAngelo and the Wangwu, number 78, 27th right now. And while I said it doesn't really matter too much where you start, if you start that far back in the field, you might have a difficult time working your way to the front. And the Wangwu did improve his time. Trying to see where he ended up falling to. 13th, a little bit better right there for our points leader. But Shane Lake is still the fastest guy out there. Trey Smith right ahead of him is second fastest. Then it's Matthew Logan, Chris Skinlart, Matt Tuck, Zachary Fitzwater, Dan Park, Ace Garcia, Jesse Turner, Madison Toll, who won in Atlanta. Atlanta, a very similar racetrack to Charlotte. Probably the closest racetrack in similarities to Charlotte. Of course, even Atlanta is quite different from Charlotte. You got Atlanta, Charlotte, and Texas. They're all those quad ovals. But they're all massively different. Texas, very wide through turns 1 and 2. For the first time, we're actually going to the newly reconfigured. Actually, that's wrong. It's not going to be the first time ever because we did have a Turkey Hill Series race there last year. But we're going to be going to the reconfigured version of the Texas Motor Speedway. Matthew Logan has just gone to the top of the board. He beat off Shane Lake's time. Sebastian Kukalon in second now, but it's still Matthew Logan, the fastest driver here. And he clocked that time in at the perfect time, so I would imagine Matthew Logan is going to be your pole sitter for the K&N 200 here at Charlotte. Great job there out of that team. Can imagine that Tanker Motorsports would love to get a win. They're not going to be in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series next year, which is a bit of a surprise. But I can definitely imagine that this team would love to contend for some wins this season before they close up shop. And they're going to contend tomorrow night with Matthew Logan grabbing the fastest time. Nobody went under 30 seconds. But it'll still be a great race tomorrow here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 34 laps of action, and they're going to be led by Matthew Logan for the start of the race tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Matthew Logan, Sebastian Kukalon, Shane Lake, Eric Monaco, and McAngelo and the Wang, who got up to 5th there at the end. Somehow finds a way to qualify very well in each of these races. Trey Smith, Chris Skinlart, John Arndt, Matt Tuck, Ace Garcia. Check to see if we have any ties. And we got none of them. Everyone is a different... Oh, no, I'm wrong. Nicholas Sambadio and Matthew Brown, but doesn't matter. Sambadio is higher in the points than Matthew Brown, so that's how they will line up for tomorrow's K&N 200. And less than an hour over on Napa Fan, the Cabarrus County 150 and the Krispy Kreme Series. Going to be a great race here from Charlotte. Get you ready for tomorrow night's race. Don't want to miss that there. This is coming up on Napa Fan at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys so much for watching here. Qualifying from Charlotte is over. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the K&N 200 over on Napa Fan in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Congratulations to Matthew Logan for winning the pole, and I will see you guys later.